It's hard to argue that full support e-bikes aren't great fun, but they are very often a different riding experience from a normal, purely human-powered bike. The extra weight of that big battery can hamper the handling, and the ride sensation can be dominated by the drive unit. But if you want the advantages of an eMTB while keeping the me bit first and foremost in the experience, there is another way. Allow me to introduce the MERIDA e-ONE-SIXTY SL. The all-new e-ONE-SIXTY SL blends the best bits of both unpowered and full-power eMTBs by taking a very lightweight carbon frame and pairing it with Bosch's dedicated light support SX drive system and a 400 watt-hour internally mounted battery. Add in 160mm of travel at either end, progressive geometry, plus the option to run full 29 or mixed wheel sizes, and you've got an eMTB that's light on weight, high on handling feel, and can still hit hard when the terrain gets rough, all with a helping hand up the climbs. Now, while I said this is a light support bike, with a chunky 55 Nm of torque and a peak power of 600 watts, the Bosch SX drive unit is extremely punchy compared to most light support drive units. In some ways, you could argue it's much of a mid-support experience, but at a light support weight, which is exactly why we chose it for this bike. The 400 watt-hour battery is mounted low down inside the frame, which means that the bike behaves like a purely human-powered bike in the turns, making it easy to throw about. But if you need more range, you can actually fit the water bottle size 250 watt-hour Bosch PowerMore range extender in place of a water bottle. Now, talking of handling, we've deliberately kept the key angles close to our award-winning 160 enduro bike range, with a steep seat angle for great climbing performance, plus generous reach figures across the board, and a slack 64-degree head angle to keep things confident on the descents. We also use our agilometer sizing system that allows you to choose whether to have a super stable high-speed handling with a long reach, a really agile feel with a shorter reach, or a balance of both, all while still getting the perfect bike fit. We've also refined the suspension system to suit this bike and the kind of riding it's designed for. The kinematic is designed all around hard-hitting but lightweight piggyback-equipped air shocks like this, and we no longer use a yoke to drive the shock, so in combination with our proven FlexStay design, it keeps the performance high and the weight and maintenance needs low. As ever, we've fitted all the bikes in the range with kit that's fit for use on a 160mm travel bike, rather than cutting corners to get a weight that looks good on paper but doesn't work in the real world. To us, that means reinforced casing tyres, big diameter brakes, stout 35mm chassis forks, and piggyback equipped shocks, so the bike can hit trails like a long travel bike like this should, over and over again. Now, despite not chasing a low headline weight, at just 19.5 kilos for our range-topping 10k bike in a mid-size, and the entry-level bike still weighing only 20.3 kilos in the same size, none of the bikes are actually compromised on overall mass either. We've also focused on the small details too, with loads of frame protection to keep the bike riding quietly and looking good for longer, including these chainstay heel protectors. We also pack in plenty of cool and useful features like our saddle-mounted multi-tool, mini chain guide, bolt-on extended mud guide, and a tool and tube carrier underneath the top tube. If you'd like to know more about the entire e-ONE-SIXTY SL bike range, check the links in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and as ever, if you've got any questions, leave them down in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them for you.